Hey, we are live. It is a live reaction show. We had to hang on a little bit later than what we were hoping to. We were hoping to go live at half five. Sorry, thinking, oh, that'll be fine. But it wasn't. They've made us wait a little bit longer, but we do have a Champions League draw. And to react to that, I've got Mo Stewart, I've got Phil Blundell, and I've got Mike Bankole. We are sponsored by NordVPN for this as well. Shout out to them. I'll do a little bit more on them later. But the teams are for Liverpool. Real Madrid at home, of course, Leipzig away, Leverkusen at home, Milan away, Lille at home, PSV away, Bologna at home, and Girona away. So there we are. You'll have seen them by now. I'll jump to you first, Mo. What is your instant reaction?
My instant reaction is these are all going to be big games. And I know it seems like a bit glib to say because it's the Champions League, but I think they're all games that people can get excited about. But they're all games I think we can win, even though obviously the headline one being Real Madrid at home. I think that we'll be able to go into that game knowing that we haven't got to worry about an away leg. We can just give it all full beans. But that one, and then obviously Leverkusen at home, the return of Alonso, that's going to get a lot of attention as well. Those are the two that jump out at me straight away. But yeah, I'm not scared about this Champions League because I think it doesn't really matter how you feel about it. We're all going to be in the same boat.
What jumps out to me, Phil, is that I feel like that the tougher games are at home, which is probably what you want. So if we were going away to Real Madrid and away to Leverkusen, I'd be thinking, oh, God, yeah, bite your hands off for 2 draws there. Maybe even one wouldn't be the end of the world. Whereas for the fact that we've got those at home, Leipzig felt like one of the easier top seed draws. So to be going there away, I fancy us to win at Leipzig, to be honest with you. Similar for AC Milan, you need to keep an eye on them a little bit. They're a developing team, but generally when we've played them over the last few years, we've done pretty well. And then the bottom 4 teams, I just think we'll get 10 points from the 12, probably, and maybe even 12. And so that's what I'm liking from it. We were always going to get a tough side, and we've been diddled a little bit in pot 2 with Leverkusen. But at the same time, the fact that Leverkusen and Madrid are at home, I feel like is a good thing.
Yeah, I think the first one coming out being Leipzig was good because it made theoretically the hardest game was going to be the away game from the pot 1 team, and we got for my money, the weaker sides of the 7 we could have got. You know, Leipzig obviously sounds better on paper than PSG or Barca or Inter or Bayern or Real. So that was a good thing. The rest of it I don't think is, like, I'd still expect us to be perfectly fine, but it's not. I don't think it's easy by any stretch of the imagination. You're looking at pot 2. I think I jotted the order of teams down in strength before. I think we've got the 2nd team and the 4th team from pot 2. I think we've got the 2nd and the 3rd from pot 3, and I think we've probably got 1 and 3 from pot 4. So from that point of view, it's not a cakewalk. It could have been a lot easier. You know, if you could theoretically swap Girona and Bologna for Graz and Bratislava, and you'd feel instantly happier. You swap sort of Young Boys and Red Star Belgrade for Lille and PSV, you immediately look at that in a much better frame. And the next thing is finding out when the games actually come in what specific order, because you know we've got some tough league games, other teams have got tough league games, and yeah, you know this wasn't going to be easy, and it's probably not. It's less ideal than you would have wanted.
Do you ever rank Anfield Wrap contributors in terms of strength, Phil? And in which case, where would you put Mike Bankole?
Top 95th percentile.
Oh, that is high. That is high. He's been on your Instagram, Mike. What are you making of the draw?
Yes, exciting. I don't know how others feel about the new format, but my general feeling is one of like excitement, because I feel like the old group stage, while it was something we're all used to as fans, right? The idea of you have these teams, home and away, 3 teams in your group alongside yourselves, all of that good stuff. It was becoming difficult to get excited for some of those games, because you're playing teams where the gap between the best teams in Europe and the worst teams in Europe has grown significantly. So many group stages were done by the last 2 match days.
Yeah.
So this means that you're playing Real Madrid at home, and it's a bit exciting, and it means something really early on in the tournament. So I don't know how popular this new format is, but I'm definitely intrigued to see how it goes, and maybe my excitement might be kind of curbed as it unfolds, and it's a disaster. Who knows? But I mean, so far so good, and I guess I echo the thoughts of Phil and Mo that the toughest games we have. So you look at on paper anyway, Madrid and Leverkusen, they're both at home. And the 4 away games we have all looks quite winnable. And this is not me dismissing those 4 teams. I think Girona had a good season last year. Milan are always a threat, but I think we have better quality and a lot more quality than those teams actually, without dismissing their quality. So I think the draw's been kind to us, and I'm kind of excited to see how it all unfolds.
Yeah, on the new format, Mo. A lot of us watch most of our football on telly, and there's going to be loads of great games on telly. And so you can talk about, what we're asking of footballers, and you can talk about what we're asking of supporters, who sort of travel and things like that. And I mean, it's caused, Andy Burnham a breakdown in terms of what it's done to the Carabao Cup. So listen, there are casualties, but the vast majority of us, the vast majority of time, watch football on the telly, and I'm looking forward to watching PSG Arsenal. I'm looking forward to watching PSG Man City. I mean, PSG generally are a fun circus. Even the fact that Mbappe and a few others have moved on over the years, but I sort of agree with Mike in that if you look at it purely as an entertainment product, and we shouldn't all the time, but for the majority of us, that's what it is. I feel like it is going to give us a lot more entertainment, and a lot of these groups are going to go, well, the entire group's going to, be a lot more lively and a lot more kind of trepidation and everything you associate with football going through it, rather than normally when you get 8 groups and you can probably predict 14 of the 16 teams to go through.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think the days of the dead rubber might be over. I mean, we'll have to see how the order comes out, and there's a possibility there may be 1 or 2 towards the end, but it's highly unlikely that there's going to be very swaves of dead rubbers. Every game is going to have something on it, and you're right, it is an entertainment product for us. It is exciting for us. The priority for us as fans of teams who are involved is to be able to enjoy it as much as possible. I dare say Andy Burnham should probably have other priorities, to be honest with him. But yeah, it's something where there's not going to be a boring day of Champions League, and we're going to be getting the if people who watch the Goal Show when it's on TNT Sports, or whether if they have similar stuff in other countries as well. I know they do. The idea of being able to watch 3 or 4 games and switching from one to the other, and there's something happened over there, something happened over there, and you're not looking at it and thinking, okay, well, this game there's obviously going to be a winner. There's quite a few games there where there's a lower team against a higher team, and they're like, well, actually, it's quite even. So I think you're going to see a lot fewer games that are one-sided as well. I would also want to pick up slightly on Phil's point about pot 4, because on the face of it, you can say that Bologna and Girona are 2 of the harder teams you could have got, because they're 2 teams from big leagues. They're also 2 teams who have never been in the Champions League before, so it's all going to be new to them. They're also 2 teams who've basically had to sell their 2 best players. Like Bologna sold Xerxes and Carafiori, Girona sold Artem Dovbyk, and obviously Savio's gone to Man City. So they're already not as good as they were previously. And we've seen from other teams in their situation, the likes, I think, of Union Berlin, who came into it with lots of enthusiasm and just found it too much and got humped. And I think that if the timing of when we play them is right, we could find themselves in that situation as well, where we can overpower them, because our nous of European football should probably come in handy.
Just read out a couple of other groups if you've not seen. Manchester City will play Inter Milan at home, PSG away, Club Brugge at home, Juventus away, Feyenoord at home, Sporting Lisbon away, Sparta Prague at home, and Slovan Bratislava away. I'd argue that's slightly easier for Liverpool. They've got a couple of really nice pot 4s, it must say, and not done too badly on the other ones as well. So I would say a decent draw for Man City. there, in my opinion. Arsenal play PSG at home and Inter Milan away. That's interesting. That's exactly the same as City, but reversed. Shakhtar Donetsk at home and Atalanta away. That's no barrel of laughs, lads. Let me tell you, we'll see what players they've got by the end of tomorrow. But no fun. Dynamo Zagreb at home and Sporting Lisbon away. Monaco at home and Girona away. So slightly tougher, I would say, pot fours there. What do you make of those, Phil?
Yeah, I think City's is all right. City's is quite nice for them. Arsenal's, I don't think is particularly fun from their point of view. They've got their pot four, as you say, is probably slightly hard. I think Monaco are probably better than Bologna, so that's not ideal for them. I can't even remember off the top of my head. I can't think back now. I'm trying to remember. I was trying to remember what my first instinct was when I heard what the groups were, and I remember thinking Arsenal's not ideal. Manchester City's probably you would have taken that at the start as a group you get, and they get Bratislava away, which is very cruel on me mainly.
well, Lisbon's great as well. I mean,
we've got Girona now. If we could give us Girona in the first two games, that's basically the Costa Brava in September. So there is a live one there. That'll do. It looks all right. I think we'll know much more about this when the fixtures come out and you see how it fits into everything. Because I mean, we've got one of them between playing Chelsea and Arsenal in the league. Now, if you're asking me what can we have, I'll have Bologna at home then, please. Whereas if you're asking what I'd like for them, they can have whatever the hardest game they want is. They can have, I can't remember who they're playing from pot one. Whoever their away game is, they can have that then. I think it's either Inter or PSG. I can't remember quite the way around that they've got them.
PSG, I think.
PSG. So they can have PSG away in the middle and we'll go from there. You would sort of think that we might start off with Real Madrid at home because they're doing it on exclusive weeks, aren't they? Like it's just the Champions League. So I'm sort of thinking they might pick the best the best pot one teams versus each other and showcase them. And I think we've probably fallen into what might be the best tie on paper. I can't remember who Bayern Munich and Barcelona got us there too, but
each other.
There you go. So you think that one night, it's 3 nights, isn't it? So one night can be Liverpool, Real Madrid. One night can be Barcelona versus Bayern Munich, and then another night can be what else they construe to be the best game. That would feel quite logical about how they do it. But yeah, let's see what happens.
Here's another one for you, Phil. I'll stick with you because you might have worked it out. There was a question in here, but Stuart Langridge, how many points do we think will be needed to be in the top 8?
Honestly, no idea.
Phil, I thought you'd have it all game.
I genuinely tried to figure it out and I didn't know where to start. I think it comes back to the dead rubber point that people have got this idea that there's going to be dead rubbers, and I just don't see it because. You could theoretically win your first 4 games and be 6th. Now, the first 4 games in a normal world, you're qualified. You win your first 4 games, you're qualified. Whereas now, you could theoretically be 6th. So it's not quite. It's going to take a lot of getting used to and figuring out where everything is. I think if you get, 16.
I was thinking 16.
So I think sort of 5 wins and a draw, you're probably fine. Like someone in the comments there just said we've got to win 7 of our games. We won't. If we win 7 of our games, we'll be home and dry. Absolutely fine.
Declan Collins has gone for 16. I had 16 in my head, Mo. What do you think?
Yeah, that feels around about the right amount. It's tough to know though because obviously it's going to fluctuate as we go along because if the first 2 rounds there's more draws than people have anticipated, then obviously it kind of comes down a little bit. But I think really the reality is that everybody's going to need to know what they're going to do going into the last 2 games. Like I think if you start badly, say you don't win either of your first 2, I'd say you've got another 4 games to make it up. And then if you're after 6 games, if you're like 20th or worse out of the top 24, then you've really got to start worrying. But outside of that, I think the first 6 games is going to be feeling each other out. And then from there, we'll be able to work out exactly what is necessary in the last 2.
Any advances on 16, Mike, or are you going to stick with the crew?
Yeah, I think 16 sounds about right. I think it is going to be, as Mo says, the first 3 rounds maybe are going to be the rounds where we kind of, especially if we do start with like a Madrid, for example, and the big games were on early, it might be that the total comes down in terms of what you need slightly because it might be a few cagey games to start off with. Whereas if, I don't know, the first 2 rounds start off and most of the big teams have won the first 2 games, then maybe it might be that you need a fair few points to kind of qualify. So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Like I said, this new format just intrigues me. Like as kind of someone who's been obsessed with football since a young age, I've been so used to that old format, and I generally don't like change. I'm generally like set in my ways. This is how it should be forever and ever and ever. Amen. But like this feels like it was needed. Like there are too many games, I think, and I think there is a concern for player welfare, and that is becoming an increasing concern, especially when you think about the expanded Club World Cup and generally speaking, international football. All of that is a concern, but this revamp is for me worth giving like at least some time to. Like, don't hate it just because it's change, which is my impulse as well. My impulse is just generally like hate change.
People hate change in football, despise it. Honestly, imagine if you start a cup competition now and said that teams who qualify for Europe will come in the third round, the other Premier League teams will come in.
They would hate it
in the second round. Everyone would be outraged and think it was a disgrace, but that's how the League Cup works and has for a long time.
Yeah. So yeah, change can be good sometimes. Let's see if this is good change. Is my general feeling.
Yeah, that's positive. Just in terms of Phil, those of us who are lucky enough to go to Anfield, having Real Madrid at home, having Leverkusen even at home, early up, we're going to see some fantastic footballers, and obviously, we want Liverpool to win the games, but I mean, Real Madrid, one of the first times I'll have seen Bellingham. Certainly, the first time I'll have seen Bellingham in a Real Madrid shirt, and the likes of Vinicius Junior and stuff like that. Then Leverkusen with what a good team they are. There's a couple, well, two at least, and the others might surprise, but two at least absolutely quality players. And if you're a fan of watching the best players in world football, those are going to be hot tickets, aren't they?
They certainly are. Like Liverpool, Real Madrid will be the best game of football on the planet on whatever day it's on. I think that's. I don't think that's any exaggeration to say that. Liverpool, Leverkusen's got a story behind it. What they've done is made big games more of a thing, and they've I think they've done it quite well in that you don't get them twice, so it doesn't create a sort of familiarity. It's not, you're going to be very unlucky to be in a position where we play Real Madrid every year for the next 3 or 4 years.
Which felt like it was sort of happening.
Yeah,
it was on Mike's point, I felt like I was just watching the same games.
Yeah, well, I think Manchester City have played Shakhtar Donetsk and Leipzig every season. I genuinely think that they may as well have just done the draw and put Manchester City, Shakhtar Donetsk and Leverkusen together every year for the last 5 years, and when they just know where everything is. Like, these know what hotel they want to stay in Manchester, they can stay there. Everyone's happy with the routine, just let them do it. And it removes the twice thing as well. It's I think I've just seen one of our WhatsApp groups, Gutman's made a point about, like getting Genk home and away is not particularly exciting. Whereas getting Genk once and then getting somebody else is a bit more interesting. It's a bit more fun. It's changing. You should, a bit more variety in it. And I'm into it. I think it'll be good. And I think people who aren't into it will be quite surprised, because I think one of the reasons people aren't into it is they think that it'll just create a lot of dead rubbers, and I'm a bit bemused by the idea of the dead rubbers, because I just don't think it's that possible. So it's livened it up a bit, because I think it was growing stale. Like the group stage was not fun, and we do also get the absolute carnage of match day 8, where all 18 games are simultaneous, which is, Mo talks about the goal show. There's a genuine argument if we got Real Madrid on match day 8, I would just stay home and watch the goal show. I just want to watch the goal show, lads. This could be amazing.
That might be the one time I have to get a hospitality ticket just so I can get some Wi-Fi in Anfield, so I can have as many screens.
I thought you meant to the TNT studio to watch the goal show, to be honest.
So we'll get a box.
Yeah. And another mad thing about this draw that I've just realised, just from working it out, aside from the two involving the dearly departed Spurs to Chelsea, every one of the last Champions League finals since 2018 is represented in this draw. So you've got the 2 Liverpool Real Madrid, you've got Real Madrid against Dortmund, you've got Man City against Inter, you've got PSG against Bayern. They're all there.
He's forgot one. He's forgot Man City, Chelsea.
No, I said except the
Oh,
ones
sorry, mate. I'm trying to think back and I missed what you said properly.
All of the ones that are possible to happen in the last 7 years are all there. So there's
Jordan style hands up.
I'll take that as a win. So there's so many big games that means that there's not going to be any weeks where it's like, oh, not really fancy this week. It's all a bit dry. There's going to be one banger at least, or maybe 2 bangers at least every week. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Anyone who has Celtic favourites, which I know is a few of you, Celtic will play Aston Villa away, which will be lively. Villa Park certainly. Then Leipzig at home, Borussia Dortmund away, Club Brugge at home, Atalanta away, Young Boys at home, Dynamo Zagreb away, and Slovan Bratislava at home. So that's a nice one. I think that's a really nice draw for Celtic. I think they've done well on top seeds. They've probably got the 2 that you take in terms of Leipzig and Borussia Dortmund, and not too bad in terms of others. And I think Celtic will see that as a group to attack, and I'd maybe back them to finish in the 9 to 26. Is it you need to do? They might sort of sneak in there on that draw. We shall see. I watched them play the weekend and I thought they were quite good. So that's what I'm sort of basing that on. But that's not a sort of a bad draw at all, Mike. Just on these home games, I'll go to you, Mike. I mentioned before, the aways, there's only so many people who sort of can go, and there's some nice cities and nice trips in there. But for those home games, so many people are going to be so desperate to go to those because, there is some fantastic sides. We don't know when they're going to be in terms of, the dates yet. And I take Phil's points on, they might want to put up some of the big ones early because they've got that exclusivity. But, for those who are lucky enough to be able to get to Anfield on a semi-regular basis, some great games to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think for the manager as well, it's no bad thing to have Madrid early on in his career, in his time at Liverpool. Because it's a big night out for him. It's a big. He hopefully gets to experience Anfield pretty early on in terms of the general European night, the kind of big sense of occasion. The same will happen with Leverkusen as well, right? There's going to be a big sense of occasion. The players will be up for it. It'll be a big night, and usually those nights don't come as again to kind of speak to the old format. Don't come unless you have a lot to play for in the last 2 game weeks, right? So we had it a couple of years ago with Napoli, but that was a big night. That was a big occasion. But you can't think of many others where maybe PSG in the same year. You can't think of many others where we've been to Anfield in the group stage and it's meant like, this is such a big game. So it'd be nice to have like Leverkusen come over, obviously the champions in Germany, Madrid, Lille, a good side as well in France. So yeah, it's nice to have these big games, and we've all mentioned that the home games are tougher ones, but hopefully Arne Slot can be part of games for Liverpool where his tactics plus the power of Anfield overcomes Madrid. It overcomes Leverkusen. These sides, Madrid's the big one for me, right? Madrid is a team that's like has haunted me for the last 5 years. But it'll be nice to the Slot's kind of the one with the power of Anfield and with his tactical acumen, the one who's kind of able to kind of quieten that beast a bit. So yeah, I think these big games, hopefully these are games that people can get to, more so than the away games, obviously, and enjoy them because they're going to mean something very, very early on.
How many of the ways do you think you'll do, Phil?
So I think it'll be hard to do 4 after this season. So I might do 4 just in terms of holiday days and stuff. I think they're also quite easy ones to do. They're not like PSV is not that difficult as a place to get to. You can do that on one night really. Then where else have we got? Girona, you can go for a nice little seaside break. I'll probably do that. I reckon maybe I might do 3 nights for that one. See what happens. Yeah, it's near Barcelona. It's near Barcelona as well, isn't it? So
yeah, you fly to Girona, don't you?
There's a lot to be said. Then Milan. One of my mates lives in Milan, so that's always a decent one to do. He's always got like people complain about Milan, but he just gives us boss things to do. So that's quite helpful. And then the other one is Leipzig, which I will definitely go to, as it's a new ground, a new place. I've not really been to Eastern Germany much, So I think I'll probably do all 4 in this one, but I think it might be the only season of this where it's actually possible. And it would certainly rule out the playoff round should we end up in the playoff round.
Mo, just on the point of slot, I thought that was a really good point by making this idea that he sort of gets almost kind of like a run of the Champions League before the Champions League sort of fully starts. And, because I'm not saying that, these games aren't important because they are, but if he loses to Real Madrid at home, it's not the end of the world. Whereas if in the knockouts, if you lose to Real Madrid at home, then you're probably gone. And so for him, I think having early tests with this squad and with the style of play that he's trying to impose against these top teams with less riding on it, I think will be a nice little warm-up for him and for everyone.
Definitely. And I think that's one of the areas where us as fans are kind of keen to see how it gets on, because that was one of the little knocks against him, wasn't it? That he's only had one Champions League season with Feyenoord and it didn't really go to plan. So you want him to get a chance to be able to experience what it really means and go through the motions of getting out of, well, it's not a group anymore, but getting through to the knockout phase. And yeah, there is more margin for error than you get in a 6-team group in that respect, because you've got more games to get it right over the longer period. But yeah, I think it's really exciting to think about the fact that every home game, if you look at them all, I'd say even Bologna at home in pot 4, I think will be a fantastic atmosphere, because it's a new team coming to Anfield. It's a team from Serie A, so they're not going to be mugs. So I feel like the crowd's going to be... There's not going to be no games where the crowd are going to have to try and get themselves up for it. I think that's going to do it themselves. So then, obviously, he's got going back to PSV. So going back to a team in the country that he's just come from. So he's going to want to go out there and impress. He's got going back to Leipzig. We've got half the team is from bloody Leipzig. So they'll all want to go back there and put on a good show. We might even still have Nat Phillips knocking around the place when we go to Milan, so he can wheel him back out for another cameo appearance. So there's plenty in there to say that this Champions League ride might go a long way to kind of maybe cementing the relationship between us and him. Because I know that he's very keen to not try and force it. It's just he's playing the games as the games play, and he's trying to be very strictly business about it. Champions League, it's almost impossible. Like, there is a bit of emotion that comes into Champions League nights, whether he likes it or not. And when you look at the teams we're playing, it's kind of unavoidable. So maybe this is where he kind of like our relationship with him really starts to kind of be cemented.
Just got the Aston Villa group, so I'll read it out. It's fun, I would say. Bayern Munich at home, Leipzig away, Juventus at home, Club Brugge away, Celtic at home, Young Boys away, Bologna at home, and Monaco away. So some exciting games at Villa Park, some decent away trips as well. So there we are. That is it for Villa. Just to finish off on transfers, of course, because there's 24 hours left in the transfer window. Chiesa's had a decent day, hasn't he? Mike, he's signed for Liverpool, and then he gets to go, oh, there's some fun games to look forward to. I mean, I guess this is why you sign for a club like Liverpool. He gets to sign on the dotted line and then enjoy a few Champions League games. And I'm sure he'll play in a few of them because we'll need the full squad. Absolutely.
I think you are going to see, as the Champions League kicks in, a fair bit of rotation. I think you will see, so far there's a set front three, but that'll be less of a case as we knock into this. And Chiesa will have plenty of big games. And I'm so excited by the Chiesa signing, because this is a lad who I was going through a group chat I have with some mates of mine, and I kind of searched what I said about Chiesa. And I'd said in 2021...
There was a couple of Man United fans who should have done that on Twitter before they
I said Chiesa would be a good Sadio Mane replacement. And that was just 3 years ago. So this is a player who, like, a lot of us thought a lot of. I know, John, you've also been a big fan of him for a long time. So I'm excited to see what he offers this club and what he offers his team. And he's only 26. I mean, the injury thing, as Josh Williams said, and as you said as well on the Gus earlier speech on, has been overblown a bit. There's loads of international break deals in there. There's loads of just like minor knocks that he's only missed like a game for. So yeah, it's exciting to have him in, and hopefully he's excited for these big games at Anfield. Madrid, who knows, he could be the one that scores a goal for us against Madrid. So yeah, exciting to see him play for us at some point. And hopefully he gets on the ground running.
Okay, just a quick shout out to NordVPN, as I mentioned before. They are partnering with us for these runs of Talking Reds, which I think this officially is. And yeah, really appreciate their support and really appreciate the service that they're offering. Loads of reasons why you would sign up to a service like NordVPN. There is the extra internet security, there's extra peace of mind and privacy settings when logging in, especially around the world on different Wi-Fis and stuff like that. But there is also the idea that you can change your virtual location to access sporting events, different TV shows that are available in other countries. I would say, Mo, there was a strong possibility to do this, even if you have TNT Sports, just to enjoy the CBS coverage in America. It looks so much fun. Every time it's tweeted the next day, I'm always really jealous that they get Thierry Henry and Jamie Carragher just messing about and having the best time. I might just do that.
Yeah, it looks like so much fun, and I mean, don't get me wrong. The goal show part of the TNT, that is probably the best thing that they do. Is probably the best thing that we have in terms of TV over there. But I mean, two's better than one, right?
You can mix and match. That is the beauty. You can change your virtual location and do it in different ways. So there's a fantastic offer at the moment. If you are enjoying this as a video, you can scan a QR code on the top left of the screen that Andy has very kindly put in there, and that'll give you access. Or you can go to nordvpn.com/TAW. You can jump straight on there, and you get an excellent deal if you sign up for 2 years. You get 4 months extra free. You get a cheaper price, and there's also a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you use it for a while and you're not sure it's for you, you can get your money back in 30 days. They are that confident that you'll enjoy the service. So nice one to NordVPN. It comes up when someone scans the QR code. That's clever, isn't it? Isn't that cool? I'm always, honestly, I'm like constantly like...
Technology's good, isn't it?
I'm constantly amazed by what is probably very basic technology.
One of my mates doesn't understand the concept of a QR code. It blows his mind. Like it's really funny. It's Chris Walsh. Ask him what he thinks of QR codes next time you see him. It's mind. It blows his mind.
It's these Oxbridge boys, you know what I mean? They're all philosophy and that kind of smart. The real world, yeah, the real world baffles them. Two people. Oh wow. Just scan it just to make us happy. It's like a little toy.
Well,
did I do it again? NordVPN.com/TAW. Nice one. They've sponsored loads of our shows over August, and we do really appreciate it. And I appreciate the service. It is really good. Okay, what was I going to ask you, Phil? Someone wants to know: are we going to sign a midfielder? Where is it? Oh, Dom O'Shea. Maybe seeing the draw will kick us up the arse to get another midfielder. I think you're probably aware of how many games we had, Phil. Yeah. But it does make it more of a reality.
Just found out today.
It does make it a bit more of a reality, I suppose, especially when you're talking about the fact that one of these is going to fit in between, I think it was Arsenal and Chelsea. Did you say Chelsea and Arsenal? And so another midfielder would be nice in the next 24 hours if he can make it happen.
Yeah, I think the difficulty level also makes that a bit more of a need. I think one thing that I've thought of that I don't think was mentioned, is that you can still sign players on free transfers who are unattached to teams after the window's closed.
So we can get Joel Matip back? Is that what you're saying?
We could, but we could also get Adrian Rabiot. I'm not massively into him, but if I say to you, we haven't signed anyone at 11 o'clock tomorrow night, and on Tuesday morning, and Adrian Rabiot turns up, you're going, hello. I'm all right with that. I'm not massively into him, but I think ultimately he's played in big games. He's played for France at the Euros. He's not an idiot. Just throwing it out there.
Listening to what he was saying about Lamine Yamal, I think he is an idiot, to be honest. I think that's the main reason.
I meant on a personal level. I mean, on a personal level, there's lots of evidence that the man is a bit of an idiot. Purely from a footballing point of view. And I get that, like someone said in the comments, Mark, that said the negative value. And I can accept that there is an element of that. But if Liverpool have signed no one, it's something you can do.
So I think, and I have a minor prediction for deadline day, is there might be a Salzburg diddle, because they have loads of midfielders. Like, I'm a bit surprised Bacic is going over there, because their midfield's probably the strongest part of the team. So it might be that we want one of their players and we're going to loan Bacic in exchange. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one tomorrow. That's my big prediction.
There we are. Good. Yeah, good change of the subject. Mike, you enjoyed that. Mark Browell said Turbo Knobhead. I don't know if you meant Phil or Rabio.
Given he's said Rabio 12 seconds before looking at the log, I reckon I'm all right here. I mean, I might not be. You don't know, but
it's that level of optimism
I can
that we
tell
need.
myself I'm okay with this one.
Also, I would say it just lets you know is also that that David Sanders has just subscribed to the Anfield Wrap on YouTube. So maybe someone was just waiting for some quality from Phil Blundell before pressing the button.
Feels unlikely, to be honest.
To be honest, like in terms of signings coming in tomorrow, like I'm not really that expectant because we've done the Casey deal quite quickly, but we really haven't often gone from 0 to 100 in a deal. So I'm just basically planning to try and find out where Joe Gomez lives and just stand outside with a sign just saying don't do it.
Stop him going anyway, man. What's he meant to do then?
Like that, to be fair.
Oh, I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure. I just want to get to like midnight and he's still there, and then I'll probably be DJing by that point. So I'll just stick Ain't Nobody on and repeat 3 or 4 times so that we can all have a big dance.
Yeah. Well, let's all have a big dance anyway. It's Friday night, isn't it? Whatever happens. Listen, thanks a lot for joining us here on the YouTube. We'll be doing shows tomorrow. We'll be looking ahead to Manchester United because it's the football that matters at the end of the day, and we're really looking forward to that game on Sunday. A lot of us who are going over to Man United, they'll be doing post-match audio reaction. I'm staying back in Liverpool to do post-match pint. They'll be both available for subscribers like David Sanders, wise men like David who've signed up, and so they'll be available straight after the game. But loads on Friday, looking ahead to the Manchester United game on audio and video. And of course, if anything happens in transfer world, transfer land, whatever it is you want to call it, we'll be reacting to that in the way that we know to as well. So thanks a lot for joining me, and thanks a lot for the good people at UEFA for making it happen eventually. I thought Cristiano Ronaldo pushed that big button really well. He's got a future in game shows if the goals do dry up. There we are. But obviously, huge thanks in particular to Mr. Mike Bankole, to Mo Stewart, and to Phil Blundell. I gave you the only Mr. and you're actually a doctor. So sorry, so that was wrong. Dr. Mike Bankole, if you please. Mr. Phil Blundell, I think, still. And Monsieur Mo Stewart, we will go for. And thanks a lot to Andy Heaton, who makes this all happen in ways that I don't understand, like Christian Walsh looking at a QR code. But here we are. It is us. We're going to go. It's my wife's birthday. I'm going to go.